Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. I hope you all are doing well. Today is Saturday. Your eyes do not deceive you. I was not here yesterday, so I was just relaxing. And I kind of did that on Thanksgiving as well, but I just didn't have the enthusiasm to be here yesterday at the time when I was actually available to be. So I decided I'd just chill, listen to my body, listen to my, what is that? Something scratching. No, that hasn't been happening. I've been in here for a good little minute, of course, now that I'm on the video, a distraction. But anyway, this is a makeup from yesterday, and to be honest, for the rest of the holiday season, I'm probably kind of going to be improvising on the times in which I come on and share, because it's just a busy time. So if I'm feeling exhausted or worn out in any type of way, I don't really like to push myself too much for the sake of saying I pulled some cards, because I just like to be in my best energy, especially given I only do one message more or less a day. So I like to give it as much as I have to give. And if that's not much, then usually I prefer to kind of hold off. So yeah, I'll definitely be popping in throughout the rest of the holiday season. But if you miss me on a particular day of the week, just know I'll more than likely make it up somewhere on the back end, if it matters to you at all. And if it does, I appreciate you for missing me, because above all, I do really love being here in this space. And I do feel it takes a lot for me to be okay with the times when I do decide, like, okay, I'm not going to give a message today on a day when I typically would, because I feel a commitment and a dedication to be here, and I actually love it, so it's definitely not me blowing it off or feeling like, oh, whatever, you know what I mean? I do take this time very seriously, and it's just as therapeutic and healing for me as I hope that it is impactful and impressionable in all the best ways for you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. Wow, the Lover's card. Wow, that's cool. All right, so we got some choice here, partnership, a divine partnership at that. Definitely an inflection of choosing to prioritize yourself as a supreme being, or to prioritize your supreme well-being, I like to say. Yeah. So of course, first choosing self, and then being a magnetic force of attraction for things that are on that wavelength, on that page, that frequency, that are in alignment. The work kind of does itself when you operate in that order, as opposed to trying to change things around you to match your vibe. You change your vibe and maintain it and manage it, and everything else more or less has to kind of like fall in line or fall to the wayside. And that's people, places, and things, more or less. So we got the Lover's card, but let's see what else we got. Something about moving on, or a partnership that may be transitioning, maybe advancing to some deeper level of commitment here, or more serious. Oh, wow, with the Sun card, I would definitely say some type of deeper level of commitment, or advancement, maybe having a baby, there could, or just moving in the direction where there is growth, where there's opportunity for growth or opportunity for advancement, whether that be marriage, whether it be starting a business, moving in, moving, physically moving to a new place or space, making something more official from maybe a friendship to a committed partnership. So many things, but whatever it is, wow, not only is it productive and fruitful, it's also successful. Wow. And then we got the Nine of Pentacles here. Do I want to go further than that? I might as well, since I'm contemplating it. Wow, okay. So we got the Nine of Pentacles, and then we got this. So somebody's thinking of making a move to advance, because that's what this Two of Wands is. Wow, oh my gosh. So somebody is definitely planning to, wow, okay, hold on a second. It's like this is the objective here with the Four of Wands. And someone is in a position to take initiative in some plan or pursuit, advancement, proposal, something here. There's a plan of action. So there's some action-oriented advancement here with the Two of Wands toward a Nine of Pentacles, which is like either literally a single person or like an open opportunity. Like it's just, not only is it open and available, but it's also very, there's a lot of promise here with the Nine of Pentacles. So it's like somebody sees an opportunity and they literally are planning to seize it. So if this is not actually, although starting with the Lovers and now with the Four of Wands, if it's not relational, if it's not about, a partnership or two people in some way, shape, or form, then it could be an opportunity. But that's just me trying not to romanticize it, to be honest, because it feels quite clearly that somebody sees what they want and they have already, first of all, with the Two of Wands, they've already taken necessary steps to put themselves in alignment to pursue or to obtain it. But with the Two of Wands, it's about actually now putting that plan into action. It's not just about the thought, the contemplation, the consideration. It's literally about putting one step forward, or putting one foot ahead of the other, and now setting out into whatever this idealized territory is to seize an opportunity while it lasts. Because the Nine of Pentacles, as I said, it represents something that is very promising. It's attractive, it's fruitful, it's prosperous, it's productive. Like, there's really not a lot of bad things that you can say about the Nine of Pentacles and the upright, yeah. So anyway, on the other side of that, though, is the Chariot card, which is this victory and success on account of someone's ambition, perhaps, maybe their bravery. Because it definitely, I wouldn't want to be in a masculine's shoes in terms of relational advancement and things like that. I don't envy the masculine, what do you call it? Like, like, what do we say? Like gender role. That's what I mean to say. Be the simplest word. The masculine role in terms of like that exchange, whether you are actually a man or a woman, because I mean, every woman, maybe not every woman, but at some point you, as a woman, you may have found yourself in a masculine role, being more of the advancer or even aggressor in some type of, romantic interest or whatever. And I've done that before. A lot of times, back in the day, not a lot of times actually, because I'm pretty traditional for the most part, but there have been a few times when I didn't feel I really had much to lose, so I didn't really mind putting myself out there and being the one to express my interests and say, I like you, or you cool, or whatever, to be very direct with your interests. Obviously didn't really pan out to, it didn't really materialize into much, or it certainly wasn't sustainable in some ways. But I'm saying all that to say that I have definitely experienced that side of the game, and I don't envy the masculine role at all, for being the one that you would ultimately expect to make the first move, or to be the one to express their interest or pursue a dynamic, because there is a great deal of eagerness and angst that comes with being in that position where you don't really know if your proposition is going to be received, or if it's going to be rejected, or after you do, get over at least that first step of the presentation, then what? You know what I mean? Like, then what happens next? Where do we go from there? So it's a lot of pressure, I think, on the masculine energy, especially at this time, to kind of, come with good intentions, and sometimes you may or may not have all the answers of, the future outlook, as even a Two of Wands kind of like projects for this like 5-year, 10-year plan for yourself, let alone for however the relationship gets to unfold. And it's kind of like, a bit unfair to project that pressure for a man to have all of that together, per se, as long as you have some positive outlook for the future, some plans, some ambitions that are productive, there's room to grow together, I think. But in this case, I'm just saying that because I see someone that is gearing themselves up to make a move, and I'm just sensing, with the wand energy, how pressureful that could be when you pretty much feel, at least you feel like, or you absorb the projection of kind of needing to have your shit together holistically, you know what I mean, to be in this warrior, position, is ready to lead the charge into the future. And it's like, well, I know I like you a lot. and I kind of want to see where it goes from there, you know what I mean? But anyway, with all of that being said, because look, the Nine of Pentacles, she's not really expected to have much figured out for more than herself. With that energy, the Nine of Pentacles is very well contained and secure, and stable, self-sufficient, even independent, but she's not necessarily expected to have it all together for a partner, particularly for a male counterpart. She's just fine as she is, literally just as fine as she is. So, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a strange but funny dynamic here of what could create harmony in a somewhat serendipitous way, where two people may not necessarily have the ambition to create all of this magic in their union. You know, it could even be a casual encounter at first, and just somebody that just knows that they're ready to mix and mingle on an intimate level, which is for a masculine, you know, and it be pure. Like, let me say that, because you could be ready to mix and mingle, and that could mean something else. But this is someone that has a pretty definitive focus about their passion, which is a lot, you know, which is saying a lot for a man to be focused in one direction when they could be distracted in many, you know. So it's like, I don't know, something about this is given that where it may be a very casual encounter or start or acquaintance or development, you know, not development, but initiation, maybe, I suppose. It has the potential to really, really grow. That's what I'm seeing here. Like, the Chariot card is success, the Sun card is prosperity and fertility. The Six of Swords is you know, moving ahead into an ideal destination, you know, like going in a direction that has, again, a great promise and potential ahead of you. You may not know exactly what you're going to what exactly to expect once you get there, but you know that it's something desirable, more or less. And also, what I haven't said about the Six of Swords in a while, is also what you make of it. When you look ahead across the water, it's very gray where they're crossing over into, but they're all colorful. And it really is whatever you're putting your mind to conceive and create, you know, which in this case, the Lover's card is like the most supreme promise, you know, that can exist in a spiritual human experience, you know, to be surrendered to Supreme Source and allow that creativity to conduct through your body. That is the force fuel, that's the inspiration, that's the paintbrush ultimately that gives that mysterious destination so much color, you know. Like, like that, literally, it's like two people getting together, knowing that there's a connection, an attraction, a chemistry, an interest, an availability, an openness, a willingness to connect and you know, see how things go. Maybe they have experiences in the past that would provoke caution or carefulness or mindfulness, yet there's still an openness and a willingness. And you don't really know what to expect of a dynamic such as this, where there's so much balance to experience. Perhaps, you know, that's not typical. There's usually some type of friction or resistance of which you can almost start to become used to. And then, you know, so for that part, you don't really know, like I said, what happens after the initial expression of interest. You don't know what happens after the first date, what happens after a month or two, or you meet the parents, or you know, like, you don't really know what happens at each next mark or what to look forward to. But it seems like whatever it is, that there is enough evidence in this regard to know that it's something positive, you know, and with that, to allow yourself to kind of just be present in it, you know, and even enjoy it without having to feel the pressure on either side to have all the answers, you know, or know what to do, what to say, or even how to be next. I think a dynamic such as this kind of just, it kind of evolves itself naturally. Yeah. So let's see what else we got. I mean, interesting. Ooh. Oh, wow, that's a lot. But I'll take them. We'll move it along. All right, so we got the Seven of Cups. Pardon me. The Seven of Cups, the Fool card, and the King of Swords. All right, so there's some confusion or delusion here with the Seven of Cups, some mystery that, the Fool is walking into that mystery though. What's that about? Maybe that's the unknown, or it could be like a mix of emotions on this new journey. Yeah, so it could be like, kind of like I was saying, really like not really knowing how to feel about how you're feeling, you know, because it's such a new territory, it's a new journey, it's a new experience, you know, it's love on a different frequency, you know, or at least intimacy on a frequency that may never have been experienced before. And the King of Swords to me is just giving someone that could be very cerebral about it, when there may not be a lot of room to kind of dissect it mentally as much as one would like to kind of like practicalize it and make it all make sense, because there could be such a plethora of emotions to navigate, that I don't know, like I feel like it lends into the idea of kind of just allowing yourself to be again, like to go with the flow. And the cerebral aspect of it would probably be best applied in filtering out the emotions that don't allow you to don't allow you the liberty to explore and experience, like the ones, you know, how we know in the Seven of Cups that most of those cups are not great. You know, some one of those could be some reflection of the past relationship. One could be a childhood memory. One could be it could be, you know, how you feel about so more or less like forfeiting or surrendering some of your singleness or your singlehood, and what that might mean, and how you might have to, you know, what sacrifices that means you have to make. And, you know, like you could get really distracted by things that don't directly have much to do with the experience at hand. So that's how I'm reading the Seven of Cups. And here you are just trying to have a new journey, a new experience, and this you could crash into energy that kind of resists that, you know, the free flowingness that the Fool is more or less open to, you know, to kind of just go and see. The Fool packs light. They don't take a lot of baggage. So this could even be like emotional baggage that you would almost want to like sift through to find some type of comfort or security or placement to make sense of what you're feeling, because there's not a lot that you can refer to of the past that can transfer to make sense of the present moment. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is like the best that you could do in terms of using your logic and your intelligence is to allow yourself to more or less filter out any of the emotional residue that you can identify from a very emotional, intelligent space is not relevant in this present moment, that does not have a direct correlation to now. If you can't transfer an experience from someone else to someone new, you can't even at this point, if you've grown in such a way as it implies from the top row, to be in a position for an intimate partnership that has such great potential, you can't even really compare who you were in past experiences to who you might be in this moment, especially given you've never really experienced yourself in this way. So I feel like that's the best that you can do for yourself. Don't allow yourself to overthink it. And because sometimes we can like try to overthink it. It feels too good to be true, or it feels almost too there's a lack of security in the unknown when we're embarking upon something new and uncharted territory in many ways. So we want to try to like grasp for security and stability by reflecting to the past and transferring that energy to now, and that may not always be the most productive. Now, there are definitely ways in which the past has certainly taught lessons that were not to be forgotten, you know what I mean? So like but see, how can I say this? It's like when you're seeing a pattern that is repeating itself, or some evidence of a repeat pattern or a circumstance or experience that is unfavorable to you, or that is not in alignment with who you desire to be at this time. And I wouldn't dare say, to ignore that realization, you know what I mean? But I think anybody tapping into me is wise enough to know exactly what I mean when I say using your intelligence to differentiate between those types of cups, when it's discernment and when it's a distraction, because one can keep you safe and secure and, keep you protected from damaging experience. And sometimes the other can actually keep you disconnected from perhaps a life-changing experience in all the best ways. And I think I don't need to beat that down much more, because you probably know the difference. Yeah, the strength card, you know the difference between your spirit and your carnal senses. What what everything in between means, you know what I mean? Like what your spirit is craving, what your attractions really and truly are purely, what your desires are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, all of that at this point, or you wouldn't even be in alignment for something, whatever this opportunity is, masculine or feminine. There's very little room to question, a readiness for it, and it's readiness for you, because the strength card is saying that there's already been a great deal of work that has been conditioning, maybe even reconditioning, that has occurred to pronounce a power that would be in a proper posture of partnership, in a healthy way, pure partnership. Yeah. Already done, and also futuristic. It's also speaking to the strength that you possess to perhaps face any challenge or charge ahead of you, especially with the Chariot card here. That's like an unstoppable force. So even if it is uncharted territory and you find a little bump in the road with intimacy, maybe you catch a little fright, a little anxiety in some way, shape, or form, maybe a flashback from times of old, or a fear or something just pops up on you, you not only will you have the intellect, but you also have the will and the determination to redirect those emotions and find yourself right back into alignment with ultimately whatever it is that you see fit to pursue or possess. And if that's a healthy, pure partnership, then you have the strength and the will and the power and the tools to maintain it, no matter what the past says. Yeah, and for it to be fun. I mean, the Fool card definitely implies fun. The sun is literally like joy and happiness and good vibrations. The Nine of Pentacles is unbothered, not a care in the world. The Lover's card is so sensual and fulfilling and satisfying. So it's like you want to allow yourself to enjoy whatever this newness is, and again, use your emotional intelligence for the good cause of filtering out what's trying to rain on your parade, if anything at all. Literally, as the Fool's walking looking like a damn mummer or some type of character, and into this Seven of Cups, like literally a rain on your parade type of energy. Okay, and then we got the Ten of Swords, because it's the end of sabotaging yourself, especially by way of overthinking things or talking yourself out of things. Projecting negativity onto a situation that has not proven itself to be so, or hasn't given great cause to be so, or to be revered as such, is definitely about outside betrayals and aggressions as well. So we definitely can't knock that, but I'm feeling that it's more about checking in with yourself than it is about managing any external interferences or influences at this time, because they're only going to be as strong as you are strong, especially given we just came off the Strength card. So again, it's like, how mindful are you in the most productive sense about what you are actually desiring to create, not hyper focused on what you don't want to happen. Well, I don't want a relationship like this, and I ain't standing for this, and I won't tolerate, because the more you focus on all of that, or what you're not here for, the more you actually open yourself up for that. If you could transfer all of that mindfulness to projecting the absolute best and the most ideal circumstances, that again, like I was saying before, that elevated mentality and intention kind of does the work for you, where you don't really have to be so safeguarded against the things that you say you don't want, or that you are sure that you're not desiring, because those things will be so mismatched and out of alignment that at a certain point they won't even really be able to approach. They won't be able to advance, and certainly if they make it to the point of a presentation, they won't last very long in performance, if you know what I mean. Like, not perverted, but it felt like I was saying that, but you know what I mean. Like, it'll pretty much prove its own worth and value eventually, so yeah, this is definitely exactly what I was saying, like using your mind space for the most productive in the most productive capacity possible, because you have the power and the liberty to do so. Like, you literally have the authority to be the creator over your life experiences, your own personal ones, your intimate ones, every single aspect of your life, you are the architect of, in some way, shape, or form. Co-creative with the divine and the universe, of course, but it needs your pen. It needs your imagination. It needs your words. It needs your intentions, your actions, your determination, your influence, your hands, your feet. You know, like you are the masterpiece, literally, incarnate. So as submissive and deferred to Supreme Source as you can possibly be, most times, you know, you make that process of creativity pleasant or a struggle, you know, on account of what you are willing to perceive and conceive yourself. So there are things that the divine has in mind to do, you know what I mean, that's been written or prophesied or just a part of your records and the design of your life. And then there is what you actually allow to be. And the degree of difficulty of that, I feel, is on account a great deal of your thoughts and your initial intentions in the first place, where the divine can have a hard time shaping and molding that reality, and that fate and that fortune, or it could be like cakewalk, you know, like a piece of cake for that process to commence, you know. So still, nonetheless, putting you in the magician's position, whether we like it or not, you know, because most of the time we don't really want to believe we have that much power and authority, because there's so much responsibility that comes with that. Like, you mean it's on me? I'm the one holding the paintbrush, you know, like I can't just put this on God. Like, no, not entirely. Not really. Yeah, like what are you saying about your life? What are you saying about your possibilities? What's possible? That's just, I mean, that sounds good, but that's not realistic. Or that would be nice in a perfect world. Like, well, what is the perfect world? What is the so-called perfect you? What is the ideal situation? And what can you do creatively to support that realization? Knight of Swords, again, that's a very ambitious pursuit of an idea, you know, a thought, an expression. In this case, and I don't often love the Knight of Swords, or even the knowledge and understanding of all those things that I just said, those questions I just raised. Like, this is the drive that if you're going to be fast and furious toward anything, you know, any advancement, then certainly let it be conscious creativity, I would say, in this case. Let's see what else we got. And here's the 10 of Cups. This is awesome. 10 of Cups. There's that happiness, that happily ever after that we think is only a matter of fairy tales. But what does that look like for you? Certainly not this, the 5 of Pentacles, but look back at this, the Knight of Swords, that feverish pursuit, and in this case, thankfully, away from the 5 of Pentacles, which is the despair, as I spoke of feeling like there is no hope for such things, that's only reserved for a select few, or a lucky break, or lucky bunch, the chosen, so to speak. You know, like, everyone doesn't have the right to such a life. And it's like, well, if you say so, and so it is. And here's there's the Knight of Cups. Taking this Ten of Cups energy and maybe passing it on. And that's how it gets to be, you know, filtered through the rest of creation in some sure way. Certain, I want to say slowly but surely, but I can't say it's necessarily slowly. What's another word? I don't know. Because I don't want to say slowly because I don't know if it is, but it's in some way that it definitely gets to transfer. Like this happiness energy here with the Ten of Cups finds its way to influence other spaces and places, perhaps even people. So that's why it's so important, you know, if there is a question of why one would be so certain that the divine, the universe, God would want to secure such an experience. Well, because it makes a footprint, it makes an impression. It literally has legs, it transfers. And if you're transferring more of this, that kind of does, again, the work that does itself. It's like literally doing God's work in the human expression, where it might be hard for some to fully conceive of the idea that some source beyond tangibility, of which none of us can be so sure of, really and truly, desires our happiness or desires our fulfillment in some way, shape, or form. We may not be able to perceive of that, especially looking around, you know what I mean, where there doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence of that. But when you can see it in a physical expression in real time, like you see people actually living well, living harmoniously, thriving relationships, people that may even be happy and whole within their singlehood, you know, and not depressed and bitter and angry and looking for a man or you know, chasing every skirt. It's like you see the real life evidence of what a life of fulfillment truly can be and what it looks like in real time. And it makes an impression that I would say is ultimately contagious. You know, that's what that's given with the Knight of Cups. Like, this is transferable energy. What's on the bottom? Wow, to do what? Break chains, strongholds, and imprisonments of, again, especially the mental sort, where, as I said, there's not a lot of evidence that some are able to perceive with their own eyes of such possibilities, such great, you know, high level possibilities for prosperity and happiness and, you know, all the good things, you know, that sound like a storybook. You know, there's not a lot to see, and then certainly there's not a lot of conditioning and support that would empower one to believe that they could actually obtain that for themselves, or they would even be worthy to receive it, you know, or create it for themselves. But this evidence here, this contagion of creativity, so to speak, is what ultimately breaks chains, breaks imprisonments, breaks strongholds, liberates minds, frees spirits, all of that from old mindsets, old disempowered mindsets, to ones that are, you know, free. I don't know, like just free, unlimited. Unlimited. right? And back here with the Magician, then having a sense of unlimited potential to create whatever the mind perceives without restriction or restraint. Ooh, my ear just popped, my right ear, like I was in an airplane or something. Picture that. Limitlessness. That was weird. Look at this. Another inflection of uncertainty or insecurity. But what is feeding that, what is, offering to that source, but the Knight of Cups, and in this case, a derivative of the 10. So where you may feel uncertain, or like you don't know which way to go, you're not sure, you don't have enough information, you don't know if you have the capacity to do, if you can be autonomous, what is that really, like creative, like how do I do that? How do I really live the life that I desire to live when I feel bombarded by projections and distractions? How do I do that? And perhaps even feeling like there are options, but not feeling secure and strong enough, empowered enough to trust your point of view and your decision making. Sometimes that's even worse than feeling like you have no choices at all. When you have so many, i.e. the 7 of Cups, and you're like, okay, but which one? And being, almost being, what's it called? Not stabilized, but I don't know what the word I'm trying to find, but feeling almost like in a holding place because you're afraid to make the wrong decision or make the wrong choice. Yeah, but it's all right there. At any given time, you decide this is the way I'm going. As I've said before, back to the beginning, it's like assuming so much pressure to do so-called the right thing, I was speaking of it in terms of like the masculine energy and approaching a relationship dynamic or whatever, but as I said, it could be masculine or feminine, however the roles reverse, and just feel, because even in the masculine energy of, the charge that we take over our own lives or responsibility that we take, we feel a pressure to perform or to to really perform, and to actualize our intentions in some productive way, hopefully some successful way. And in that process, sometimes we assume a great deal of pressure to navigate that authority and that privilege of power in a good way, even in a perfect way. And so maybe a lot of the energy that I'm speaking of, the pressure being released is this ideal of perfection, or this almost, what do you call it? Like obsession to some degree, or just maybe a fixation, maybe not obsession, but a fixation with perfection that, it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive, to say the least. It takes the fun out of the experience, out of the living of life, out of the discovery. Look at the fool card. And a lot of times it's because we're afraid to look like a fool or to feel like a fool on account of making what we think is a wrong choice or a wrong move. But again, it kind of takes the zest and the flavor out of life experience, preaching to the choir. You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes the movement, the advancement out of it as well. Once you get to a place where you feel stuck in one position, and that's just not, it's not the season for that. It's kind of like the trust yourself to go and see type of season. Like, you, at this point, you've had too much experience. I won't even say like you've done too much work, because it's more so about the experiences that you've had to have grown enough and established a standard high enough, hopefully, that you know what aligns with that and what doesn't, almost in real time. And you also have the strength and the will to course correct as need be, if need be. And you also have the resilience to readjust, and bounce back if in fact you do experience something that was undesirable, or that you weren't intentional to create or experience. So I don't know, hopefully that can, and there's the advancement here with the Eight of Wands. It's like, I feel like generally, but I feel like we're all about to understand this better very, very soon, because I feel like this season that we're in now is going to be so expansive and so accelerated, so advanced, that where we mentally perhaps have held ourselves in restraint, like with all those considerations and maybe even anxieties and fears about, our choices and our objectives, I'll say. I feel like life is about to accelerate in such a way where it's like, while you're actually living in the evidence of your readiness, because of how things are moving, and you're having to, go with the flow, or you pretty much be left behind, sit that ass down and sabotage great opportunities. You're having to keep up with the pace, but you're also being very self-assured in that same time of just how how built for this you truly are. So if that's an acceleration in a business, in a partnership, in a relationship, maybe you're about to have a kid. I always say this, like, nothing will really teach you about yourself than becoming a mom. And you could never be prepared for it, no matter how many books you read or how well established and secure your life is. There will always be something to completely, just knock your socks off in terms of motherhood that you'll find yourself readjusting to. And you better learn to love it and like it, or it makes for a very miserable experience. So all that to say, like, no matter what the challenge or charge is, I feel like, in a great sense, nobody's going to have time to be double thinking and overthinking their qualifications for this transition. And also, it's going to come with a great deal of enhanced and advanced pleasantries, if you allow it to be so, of just how prepared you are for it all. Because if it's I would say, if it was up to us mentally, we probably talk ourselves out of a lot, especially Eight of Wands energy. You probably talk yourself out of that new business. You'll wait till next year when you got a little more money saved. You'll wait to buy that house when, you got the husband and the dog, and you know what I mean? Like, you'll wait to, I don't know, like, have a kid when you have the house, or, all types of things that we foresee with our human eyes and our past, again, reflections. and we decide our own readiness or preparedness or capabilities, when the universe has a much greater, has much greater faith in us, in a lot of ways, which is why the co-creativity is just beautiful between those two experiences, between the spirit and the natural, because what we can't see, the spirit does, and infuses, conducts through us the courage, the confidence, and the capability to navigate it, whether we think we're ready or have evidence for our readiness or not. So all that to say is that I think although it's going to feel like a whew, like a whirlwind of advancement coming soon, of just maybe a lot of things to manage, a lot more responsibility, a new level of experience, maybe advancement, position, power, creativity, inspiration, like so many things are going to be happening at once, that if you were to have, if you were able to see exactly what was what before it actually materialized, you would probably resist it. Like, oh no, I don't think I'm worried. I don't think I'm ready for all that. But the way that it's coming, you're not going to want to pass up what's coming. It's going to be too good to pass up. And you're also going to experience yourself actually being in a position to excel, not just to manage, but to excel in what is coming. So I'm just giving you the heads up of encouragement, giving us, perhaps, not just you, but me and whomever can relate, the heads up of encouragement to allow yourself to enjoy this acceleration, advancement, perhaps even ascension. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't think your way around it. Just experience and know that everything that you need is within you, and everything that you think you might be lacking or you may be void of is accessible. Like it can be resourced by the most supreme source at all, through the most supreme source of all. All right, let me just get one more. I could leave it there, honestly, but just one more, and then we'll close this thing out. Oh, come on, not this. I'm not going to take this, but this is like Five of Swords, so it still could be some hateration, or this could, again, be mental conflict within yourself, old strongholds, old defeated mindsets that you already know to part ways with. You probably already have. So we're not even going to entertain that now, are we? Nope. Matter of fact, let's shuffle it up a little bit. Spirit, let me just get one, and it still try to pop out. You see that? That's crazy. So yeah, just be wary of projections, thoughts that don't make a whole lot of sense with your actual experience, particularly ones of the past, like things you might think about yourself before, or reflections of before, or a different time, or a different you, or once upon a time when you tried something and it didn't work out, or you know what I mean, like that type of energy, things that just don't have any resonance with right now, and the creativity that you are committed to, because that's a sure sign that it's not something that is that really is a resident of your present energy. Is more than likely an intruder or a guest that has just overstayed their welcome, perhaps an actual guest. Take that as it resonates. Overstaying their welcome, especially during this holiday season. And that's what I'm talking about, because this is what we are after. This is what the divine is revering us to be, gifts that have literally been placed here strategically in the earth realm to enhance this experience, to be enhanced and to enhance. And I mean, it kind of works both ways. It's again a collaborative situation where you're being blessed and blissed to have a certain experience of excellence and fulfillment and happiness and joy and prosperity and success, so that you can express that experience outwardly and it be a blessing and blissing to someone else who can then do the same, and so on and so forth. So there's a method to the madness here. It's like, it's definitely something in it for the divine. Don't you think for a second it's not, but there's a great deal in it for you as well. And that's why you should be certain of your capacity to create and even to create, to manifest and magnetize the, the gifts of spirit and truth unto yourself, meaning the best case scenario, the greatest good, the highest good, the, provision, and also prosperity, overflow. This is magnified provision and security here, partnerships, support, opportunities. Like it's if it's not too good to be true, it can't be, because it's here for you to be the truth in this realm, so that it can dispel the lie, which is the limitation. That's what our purpose is, to dispel the lie of limitation. So there's no better way to do that than to be it, right? To be an infinite expression of wealth and prosperity. And this came back up, the Eight of Cups. That could be literally walking away from these energies here that would like to be resistant. It could be thoughts, could be energies, could be, whatever it is that might, again, want to push back on this transition into whatever it is that we're talking about here, which I feel is obviously unique. Transition into some promised experience, whether it's something that you've been dreaming up for your whole life, or you've been focused on for a decade, you've been working toward for the past 5 years, you've always wanted to have, or you've always idolized from seeing it with others, and you've put yourself in a position to create for yourself, or to be receptive of yourself. This is all the faithfulness to walk away from anything that is less than that, first and foremost, and to protect that intention and that passion with all your might, and with no apologies against anything, anyone, or any place that would stand against it. No holds barred. No concessions made, no excuses, no obligations, no martyrism or martyrdom, no no sacrifices beyond what is supreme and sacred. Like all of that you get to stand your ground against, and criticisms, objections, judgments, all, like people that say that you're crazy for thinking that that's possible, or you're crazy for thinking that you have a right to that, or you are capable of that, or whatever you've established to be true for you, attainable for you, is something worth being protective over, not paranoid about, but protective. And it also gives you full license to remove yourself or detach yourself from anything that is not creatively and productively contributing to that ideal, period. And a lot of that we've already done. Like we're on to a whole new season of transition now, where really you ain't got time to be proving no points and arguing your position. Put this over here as a matter of fact. Like, you ain't got time to be trying to prove your point or, explain yourself, clarify, like, make people see things your way, hear me out type of vibes. Like, you ain't got time for that. The best you may be able to do for yourself, because like I said, that Eight of Wands is coming. So you using all your strength to do all of that for people and places and things that may not get it until they actually see the evidence of your intentions. That's also what a lot of this is. The resistance is part of the distraction, so that perhaps it might actually keep you from ever being that evidence, which of course would be a win for the dark side, certainly not for the light. So you really don't have time to be trying to prove anything to anyone, even unto yourself, when you've already been affirmed by the most supreme source of all. The best you can do for yourself and anyone else is to just keep moving and let your fruit affirm you. And it's not in a sense of like, yeah, I'm gonna prove it to them. No, because we ain't got time for that neither. Like, there's a greater calling here for most that are doing anything worthwhile in this season and have the support of the divine to do so. It's already been anointed and ordained for a great purpose. There's an assignment attached to your intentions, your ambitions, your dreams, your goals, and it's not simply to gloat or to prove any of your objectors wrong or anything like that. Like, it's to advance the kingdom of light and love. And there could never be enough hands, in that mission, hands and feet, boots on the ground, let's say, in that mission, not to take yourself for granted, to believe that, oh, well, my dreams don't really matter. No, every man counts to achieve that level of supreme fulfillment that they have a righteous right to, so that, again, that glory of the divine can be more pronounced and expounded throughout this universe, throughout this realm. That's God's work. Anything else is grunt work, as far as I'm concerned. Not even worth the muscle. You can transfer this energy and this determination to the creative process, as opposed to the resistance or even, like protecting, to be defensive in any type of way. Like, leave that behind you. I wouldn't even say just in 2024. I would leave that behind you, hell, today, before December 1st, okay? And walk your way into your promised presence, whatever it is, that whatever design has been carved out for you by the divine itself. That's what matters most. So, God bless, Godspeed. The Godspeed is already here, so you ain't gonna be able to resist much of that anyway. So be blessed in that Godspeed and enjoy yourself. I mean, let this holiday season, as it usually does, really just amplify that spirit of joy and fun and fulfillment and light and love and gratitude and gracefulness and graciousness that you just can't help but be affected by, even when you try not to be, which, by God, I don't know why you would try such a thing. But if you're in the market for it, I say soak it up. just like you would the sun. Like soak that up and then expel it, to anyone that is willing and able to receive it. So that's all I got for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.